Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Doing a lot of great things. Make sure that you check out the Gene Therapy column and podcast that just dropped yesterday, CWN Sports. Talking about the halftime show and the pride and nostalgia that came with the halftime show at the Super Bowl. My main man, Brandon Howard, joined me. It was a good conversation. Had an opportunity to kind of roll back. Talked about my top 5 all time. I want to apologize once again to Bruno Mars for putting Katy Perry at 5th when I should have put Bruno Mars at 5th and Katy Perry at 6th. But I really, really enjoyed the Katy Perry halftime show. I also, I think I gave the Bruno Mars a demotion because it was Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I don't know. I don't mind Red Hot Chili Peppers, but, would have loved to have just seen all Bruno Mars at that point. There's been a lot of storylines that have come out of the Super Bowl. A lot of different angles, a lot of things that people want to take. So, I'm going to try to go through as many as I can without boring you to death with it. The first one is that Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer. Now, I'd like to start this by saying, if they want to put more people in the Hall of Fame, I am all for putting more people in the Hall of Fame. But the Los Angeles Rams did not win that game because of Matt Stafford. The way that Matthew Stafford played, there were a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFL who could have won that game playing the way that Matthew Stafford played. Did Matthew Stafford make some really good throws in that game? Yes, he did. All quarterbacks in the NFL make really good throws. That's why they're in the NFL. Even the bad ones make really good throws that you shake your head at and you go, wow, how was he able to throw that ball like that? He had one of those balls on a play that people are trying to act as if was critical, but it wasn't. It was second down. And he threw that ball to Cooper Kupp with another person wide DF open. So if we're gonna shape the narrative, let's shape a narrative. The ball that he threw for the touchdown, there was no magic to that pass. That is a basic back shoulder fade that everybody in the world practices and that every decent quarterback can complete. How do I know? We teach our high school quarterbacks how to do it. That's how I know. That's a play that we use for our high school quarterbacks. They're doing it in high school. They should be able to do it in the league, especially if you're being guarded by somebody who's not that great at guarding people. If you want to make Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer, I'm okay with it. But, this is a but. Don't tell me that it's the championship that makes him a Hall of Famer. Because championships should not make people a Hall of Famer. Their performance should. If they were the sole reason for the championship, that should make the difference. I could argue that Matthew Stafford wasn't the reason for the championship. I could argue that the addition of Von Miller was the reason for the championship. Because when you put Von Miller on your team, and now you're able to put your 3 defensive linemen to one side and Von Miller alone on the other side, that's an advantage that nobody else has. because nobody else has somebody that is Aaron Donald-esque on the other side of Aaron Donald. So when you put that monster Aaron Donald in a situation where they have to, absolutely have to be one-on-one, that's a recipe. That's a recipe for success, right? That's a recipe that says, hey, you're not going to be able to block us because you have to now block. You have to now block this monster at defensive tackle one-on-one, right? One-on-one. That's a thing that we so many times forget is you want to create one-on-one situations, but it's hard to create one-on-one situations when the other people are not feared. So if you don't look at Aaron Donald and put two people on him, you're silly. But if you do, you're leaving this monster Von Miller one-on-one with somebody. That's a recipe to lose. Guess what? They didn't do it. They said, hey, we got to try to stop Von Miller on the other side, who is absolutely murdering our right tackle. And we got to take a chance that Aaron Donald can't get to the quarterback before we can. And they lost. They lost that gamble. The other thing that came out of here was the idea that if the Bengals had drafted a tackle instead of Jamar Chase, that they probably would be a champion right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. The Bengals did not run roughshod through the regular season. The only reason the Bengals are number one in the AFC North is because the entire Baltimore Ravens team got hurt. All of the running backs got hurt. All of the defensive backs got hurt. Lamar Jackson got hurt. That's why Cincinnati ascended to the top. They got lucky and pulled out the win when they played the Raiders. Even though they should have won that game, they got lucky. They got lucky that Ryan Tannehill went back and reverted back to god-awful Ryan Tannehill. And they still almost lost that game. Right? They got lucky that the Kansas City Chiefs short-circuited in the second half of that game. That they didn't just keep their foot on the gas. That they didn't just run them out of that really ridiculous zone that they were in. They got lucky in those games. They did not win those games. Those games were lost by the other team. Now, I'm not taking anything away from them. They had to make plays. But what are we talking about? The left tackle is not going to make a difference there. You know why? Because Jamar Chase. That's why. If you take a left tackle last year, one that has been proven, like, unless everything is already set with your team, doesn't really move the needle on your offense. If you take the left tackle last year, there are no Jamar Chases in this draft. I know it's a deep wide receiver draft. I know people are impressed with. There are no Jamar Chases in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if there's a Justin Jefferson in this draft. There might be another T. Higgins in this draft. There may be another like good number 2 in this draft, a 1 minus, a 2 plus, but Jamar Chase is a 1 of 1. Penei Sewell is not. I'm going to say that again for you people in the back not listening. Jamar Chase is a 1 of 1. There are no Jamar Chases. There's a Penei Sewell every year. There's a big athletic left tackle, right tackle prospect every single year. How do we know? Because every single year we see one get taken. And they go to teams that are trash, and that team that's trash continues to be trash. Or they go to a team that's ready to win, and they end up an all-pro, see Tampa. So this idea that the Bengals somehow made a mistake. The Bengals are not in a playoffs if it's not for Jamar Chase. The only traditional big play that they had in that game was when Jamar Chase ran by Jalen Ramsey, was able to extend and stretch and catch with one hand a pass by Joe Burrow that Joe Burrow didn't throw the best, with Jalen Ramsey draped all over him. So y'all can miss me with this idea that somehow the Bengals messed up, the Bengals screwed up. The Bengals are where they are because of the decision that they made to take Jamar Chase. And now, if you want to address offensive line, go ahead. But don't feel compelled to address offensive line and reach for an offensive lineman in the first round if you know that there's no real difference between the one you're taking and one you can take on Sunday or Saturday, excuse me, because it's 3 days now. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Don't allow the people who do this for a living, me included, to sway how you draft. Me, I'm not taking an offensive lineman in the first round. Nah, I'm good. Because I look around the landscape of the NFL and I don't see one team that reaches the Super Bowl with the first round draft pick who makes a difference at offensive line outside of what the Buccaneers were able to do. And I could argue that if you replace him with a serviceable right tackle, not the guy that they replaced him with when he got hurt, but if you replaced him with a guy who's actually supposed to be a starter in the league, you still get there, right? If the Bucs had actually invested some money in a high quality swing tackle, a guy who could back up the left and the right side, so that if one of those guys got hurt, they're not coming in with a guy who should not be in the league, they would have been fine. So the Bengals don't need to be swayed by me. If there's a guy there at the end of the first round and he's worth it, take him. If it's not, don't take him. Wait. But definitely address the offensive line. Definitely do that. Because they were getting beat. As Hayden Panettiere said in Remember the Titans, they were getting beat like they stole something. Because they were. It's no shade, it's just the truth. One of the other things that comes out of this that I look at with some questionable eyes. Somehow, the coaches, the head coaches, come out of this getting more credit than they did going in. I'm sorry. This was not like the greatest. This was not the display of the head coaches. I told you, on other platforms, on other days, that this was an homage to Raheem Morris. They didn't get a lot of pressure in the first half. The adjustments by Raheem Morris on what to do to set up matchups to allow that front four to get pressure was genius. The offense, when it all was said and done, the offense was, hey, Matt Stafford, force balls into Cooper Kupp. What happened to the play designs that get people wide open running? What happened to the play designs by the Bengals that helped them pick up 1 yard? Where's all of the offensive innovation that we were supposed to be getting from all of these young coaches coming off the McVay tree, off the Shanahan tree? And you people continue to hire them. You just continually hire them. They're all clones and carbon copies of each other. They're all meh. They all talk with the slick talk and fast talk and give you all the jargon you've ever wanted, and you suck it up because you don't know yourself. You don't understand the game at a level to be able to go, bro, you just saying a whole lot, but you ain't really said anything. Hey, man, you just said a lot, but you haven't said anything that's not brand new. Hey, where's all this offensive innovation, Cincinnati, in the red zone? I've been banging the table for as long as anybody can hear saying this Cincinnati offense has not looked right in the red zone all playoffs. And guess what they didn't again? They didn't look right in the red zone. The one play they had was off a trick play. The one touchdown that they had in the red zone was off a trick play. It was field goals, and it was a pass interference for the offense that wasn't called on an 80-something yard pass. That's the offense. That's it. That's all they did. Where's the innovation? Lastly, I was going through Twitter and I saw that somebody, I don't know who it was, and I'm not even going to give them any plug by saying their Twitter handle, but it was a Twitter handle that was a Lakers fan's Twitter handle, and has a good following, like 12,000, way more followers than I have. And they said the Lakers are currently 26-31 and 9th in the West. LeBron, and then it shows LeBron dancing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Why are you people like this? Now, you can't be serious, right? You can't be serious. So you guys want LeBron James, one of the hardest working, meticulous basketball players in the history of the game, to just work out for 24 hours straight? He's not supposed to enjoy his time outside of working out. Let's see, the Super Bowl starts at 6 o'clock, I believe. 6 o'clock Eastern. 6 something Eastern, which means that it starts at 1 something, I think 1 something, 2 something Pacific. So you're telling me that in the time that this is going on, that LeBron James couldn't have woken up in the morning, gotten in a good 3-4 hours of working out, practice, all that jazz, took care of his responsibilities, and then went to the Super Bowl that was in the town that he lives in? You're telling me that he doesn't get that right? He's been playing basketball for 19 seasons, and you're going to criticize him because he went to the Super Bowl Are you that dumb? I wouldn't care if they were in last place. Trying to blame LeBron James for your team not being good is the dumbest statement I can think of. Trying to blame LeBron James or trying to play LeBron James as if somehow he's slacking on the job when he's already brought your city a championship. We're at 30 whatever years old, damn near 40. He's averaging the same stats he was averaging as an 18, 19-year-old. You people are stupid. You can't be serious. Find somebody else to play with. That man is not for play. And I am here to tell you that I will cuss you out if I see you in the streets. If you didn't have some random anonymous Twitter handle where you can hide behind anonymity, if you start talking to me any of that rap, any of that talk about LeBron James doesn't work hard, you are going to get met with hostility. Because it is the dumbest statement that you could think of saying to me. I don't get that. I don't understand why we have to be like this as a society. Why can't we just say, oh man, that's great. LeBron James gets to, and let's think about where LeBron came from. Look at the people in that booth with him. It's all his boys, childhood friends, people that were there from the beginning. That's the American dream. This man didn't get rich and then surround himself with a bunch of people that he's never saw and forgot about the guys that he grew up with. This man is on the biggest stages in the world, celebrating, enjoying life with his people. If you can't respect that, your whole perspective is whack. Make it, you just can't be serious. One thing that I know for sure, though, right, that comes from this is that, man, Ben Simmons really looks like he's in a good headspace. I was watching that Brooklyn Nets game last night and watching Ben Simmons jump around and be into it, and I haven't seen that with Philadelphia. So, just so I'm clear for you mental health advocates, because you say you care about mental health. You say you care about mental health, that mental health is important to you. Yet, in the same breath, you criticize and ridicule people. I say that mental health is a real issue and that not everything is necessarily mental health. Like we've went to a level where people are using it. People are using it to get out of stuff. And that's wrong to me. You shouldn't use mental health as a weapon. You shouldn't use it as a shield. You should use it because you're really going through stuff. In my opinion, and I don't care who agrees with me or not, Ben Simmons does not have a mental health issue. Ben Simmons is a child and acted like a child when they did not get their way, or when people expected him to act like a professional. And he wanted to be out of Philadelphia. And so instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to play, but I want out, but I'm going to play because I'm contractually obligated to play, and I owe that to the people who paid me $100 million to play. Instead of doing that, he said, no, I'm going to sit out. And then when Philadelphia started fining him money, that's when the mental health issues came out. When he started losing his paychecks, that's when the mental health issues started. So now we're supposed to instantly feel bad for him because he says that he has mental health issues, except when we're feeling bad for him and we're saying, hey, you can't force him. We don't know what this mental health this stuff is. And all of a sudden he gets traded and he's in a way better headspace. All of a sudden he gets traded and we're told, well, there's a chance he might play, after we were told there's no chance of him playing this season. He's not in a good headspace. I'm telling you, it doesn't feel good to me. And it's a slap in the face to all the people who do legitimately deal with mental health issues. Because if he doesn't, and for what it's worth, I am on the side that I don't believe he does. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say I'm wrong. But if he does not have any mental health issues going on with him, if he is, in fact, able to just come back and play, then people should be really looking into suing him. Because that's wrong. Let's hope that I'm wrong. Because I don't want to believe somebody would use something like that as a weapon. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. If you join me on the YouTube channel, you know what to do. Till next time, peace.